What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're here to discuss a very prevalent deck for the Dbt-04 meta. We are, of course, talking about Bastion. So it has been a week or two since the drop of Dbt-04 in English, and with that being said, I'm seeing people kind of are on the fence with this deck in general. So people are kind of saying, hey, look, it took a step back, it's not as powerful as it once was, you know, certain things have kind of caught up to it in the meta, and while that could be true in some ways, I generally disagree. I think this still is a really good deck in general. I think this definitely is still tier 1. And I'm going to go over why I think that in this video. So let's just take a step back really quickly and look at the meta in general. What is really good at the moment and why do I think that is? So first off, there's two types of decks. Grade 3 decks who basically have their game plan go off at grade 3 and they're just kind of helped out by, you know, Persona ride the next turn. And B, these grade 4 decks who really just pop off on grade 4. You kind of stall your game out, you know, just play whatever until you hit that grade 4 and really hit your stride, quote unquote. No pun intended. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that there. But overall, I think this deck actually does both. The grade 3 turn that you pull off with this deck is actually really impressive, still very decent overall, and you don't have to commit a whole lot to make it a decent turn. On top of that too, there is still high roll potential even on your grade 3 turn, which we will go over during the deck profile. I'll explain what I'm talking about there. On top of their just being this overwhelming, really solid grade 4 strategy. So I think that we're seeing a little bit of both, best of both worlds in this deck. And when I'm talking about tournaments, when I'm talking about competing and actually going, you know, if I'm really trying to sweat, you know, locals, whatever it is, I want to bring something that's consistent, something that I get off turn after turn, you know, just I know that my game plan is pretty much going to go X way, and there's really not too much variance from that. And this deck is the epitome of that. And I think that it really is one of the best decks in the meta. You don't need certain key cards at certain times to make it like really awesome. You have the fallback plan of your grade 3 turn and whatnot. So there is just a whole lot going for this deck. I still think that it is a very good deck. So without further ado, let's hop right into the deck profile. I'll show you guys what I am talking about and all of my choices within the deck. Alright, before we begin, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you are interested in purchasing any of the cards that you see here today, we do have a TCG Player affiliate link down in the description below. You could help support the channel, absolutely no cost to you, by shopping through that link. Really appreciate it. And if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video, possibly subscribe to the channel, almost at that 1K mark. Really appreciate it, can't talk today. And lastly, we do have a Twitter now, so if you want to interact with me, ask me any questions, see what's up at our locals every single week, posting all of our results there too. You can definitely follow us on Twitter, again, all in the description below. Alright, now let's hop right into the ride line. So we're just going to go with the standard ride line coming right out of the trial deck. Nothing really has changed here. I still think this is pretty much the best ride line that you can go with. I know some people kind of experimented with some of the PBD ride line and whatnot, but definitely don't suggest that in this meta at least. The one thing I will say about this ride line now, I think the consistency of showing the 3 has dropped a little bit with the introduction of grade 4 cards now, but overall still hit it, you know, I want to say like 80 to 90% of the time, which is good enough to me. And again, we're talking about like if you want a competitive deck like this deck really is, you're talking about consistency, you just want to see that over and over. I feel like this deck really does achieve that. So yeah, let's hop right into the main deck profile now. Hopping right into the deck profile itself now, this is the main deck. We are going to be starting off with 4 of our main Bastion now, I guess you want to call it. Apex Surpassing Bastion Sword Bastion Prime. I think it's an Apex Surpassing Sword Bastion Prime. Sorry about that. But this guy is awesome. It doesn't feel forced. A lot of grade 4s in this meta now feel kind of forced or, you know, just a little bit too slow. I think this is the beauty of this deck, that on grade 3, on grade 4, not too much changes. You don't need to change up a ridiculous amount of cards to really make either strategy work. It just kind of all flows. So it feels really good. And this guy's skill is continuous on Vanguard Circle. During your turn, all of your grade 3 units in the front row get an additional 2k, so a little bit annoying that it didn't give it to the entire field like the old Bastion did, but I think the restand numbers would just be too high, and what I'm talking about here is the second skill. Once per turn, at the end of the battle that our drive check revealed a grade 3 unit, we can discard a Bastion, card with Bastion in its name from our soul or our hand, restand all of our grade 3 rear guards, and they get an additional 10k until the end of turn. So this is absolutely huge. So you have 1 attack, 2 attack on its sides, and of course you could potentially be boosting them. I'll show you how to do that later. And then stand them both. That's another 20k to the column. Absolutely huge, just huge numbers. How do you win Vanguard? There's really only one win con that you want to be kind of achieving every single game. It's just turning cardboard sideways, dealing a damage to your opponent, and bigger numbers kind of helps you do that. So I think that this kind of gameplay, the style that this is going into, just complements the deck so well. Again, you don't have to change crazy things in the deck to make this work. This is just kind of the natural evolution of that grade 3 Bastion, so I think that it is really good. This is not like, oh, my deck comes alive at this turn. This is, oh, my deck exceeds and kind of excels on the grade 4 turn. and it still has a really solid grade 3 turn overall. So very, very good card. I definitely think this is a meta contender. Definitely top 2, kind of top 3 decks. One of the top 3 decks, I would say. I'll leave it at that for now. Maybe I'll do a meta analysis kind of video. I've been kind of wanting to do that. I did get a new webcam, a stream cam, so I am really I might start putting my face a little bit more on the channel. But moving right along, we are going to go into the next grade 3. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Bastion. So this is the regular Apex Ruler Bastion that we have in our ride line. And this deck is really awesome because you do need to discard a card with Bastion in its name in order to, or Soul Blast him, in order to get his skill off. So you're really not wrong for running multiple Bastions. And the nice thing too, if you don't see a grade 4 Bastion, this deck actually folds back. You can just go into an Apex Bastion, like a regular one, and just play out the same exact strategy. And it's not like, oh, you know, I'm just in case I do get the grade 4, you know, I have it, I'm not wasting it by riding it because I still have one in Soul. You can Soul Blast out 2, you know, if you have 2 more turns with this, for example, you can still have 2 in Soul to do that with. You don't need to discard from hand. And whoever complained about a Bastion turn, like, Bastion is still really seriously good, especially when Persona riding, still hitting those sweet numbers. This deck can operate on either grade 3 flavor or grade 4 flavor. Really, really solid overall, so I think that having the additional 3 in here does not hurt the deck at all. Kind of like limits some of your tech spaces overall, but I think that at the same time, like, it just kind of guarantees you like a really nice kind of game plan no matter what. And again, like I said, the whole theme of this deck is like consistency in a way, and having those 7 of those ride targets kind of in there is just really, really solid. All right, next up over here, this is kind of a card I did cut originally, but then I got it used against me. Shout out to you, Andrew, if you are watching this. I got it used against me, and it absolutely blew me away, 1-6, really, really quick. I'm still rocking 2 of these guys. So this is Heavenly Sword of, oh god, how do you say it? Distinction Lagro. I think that's how to say Lagro, right? Don't quote me if I'm wrong. But just such a high roll card, really, really necessary in the deck, in my opinion. And this is actually good for a grade 3 turn. So you might be thinking to yourself, you know what? Why would I use this on grade 3? Why would I use this right away? I'm just expending too much. Not necessarily true. This can get you out of some bad situations too. If you have a ton of grade 3s in hand, you plop this guy down on rearguard circle, plop a bunch of those grade 3 down, and then just rest the rest of them. Like, it's fine. Like, you don't need to go for 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks. You can just go for the regular 3 with 1 on him, restanding him after with Bastion, obviously swinging with Bastion. I think just the high roll and the filter from your hand is just worth a little bit more. Like I said, you know, I no passed my opponent with this card. He double critted me. I made it a 2 to pass on his Bastion, and I had to save the PG for this guy later. You know, he 2 to pass on the Bastion, and it just killed me right there. I was 1-6. You know, I had him at 5, thought I was gonna win, and nope, he just blew me out. So this card can really turn situations around really, really fast. And again, just committing grade 3s to board, unless you're playing Prison, which that kind of sucks, like, it's not a big deal in general. Like, not a ton of things right now. Like, Leonard's more or less gone in a lot of builds. A lot of things that did retire previously, like, you know, are you fearing a Eugene, I guess? Like, come on. It's not a big deal to commit a lot of grade 3s to board anymore, and just rest those so that your cost for this guy is kind of lessened. So I really do like this guy. The drive checks on him do make a big deal. Yeah, I think it's honestly a really great card. So keeping it at that 2 of, 3 of maybe if you want to see it a little bit more consistently, but I think 2 of is just fine. I think it's the right ratio because we have a lot of other cards in this deck that we kind of snuck in. So I'm definitely happy with 2. Moving right along now, we are again talking about probably the best card in this deck. This is a CB Soul Blast for draw 2. This is Alden. So his full name, I guess, is Grand Heavenly Sword Alden, but you guys know this card. It's been around since set 1. You know, I don't think this card is going to be replaced anytime soon. Drawing 2 cards in Vanguard is just absolutely huge. You know, when this guy swings too, you get that extra 5k, making him that 20k naturally, so he's a good target on your first grade 3 Bastion ride if you want to go into kind of like a mid-range, just very vanilla kind of turn. And then when restanding, he's at least 25, so not too bad, or at least 35 then with the, am I doing the math right? You know, 20, 15, 20 unboosted. Restand him, gives him the plus, yeah, 35 when he restands. So it could make really solid numbers. It's not like a high pressure card in a lot of different ways, but at the same time too, when you do restand this guy, you get those nice numbers. You get that extra 10k from Bastion Prime as well to the entire column, so that you start jacking up these really, really insane numbers. And just that little 5k at times in a game, especially like Overdress right now, where shield value is kind of low in general, I think that 5k can make a difference. So very, very good card. I don't think there's any kind of debate there. You definitely need to be running that at a 4 of. Next up over here, I see a lot of people run this at 4 of. I think I like it at 3 of. Sometimes I've seen too many of them. This is going to be, oh god, how to say this name? Heavenly Arrow Short Hit Sparera, something like that, I think. I'm going to put the SP in the back, a little bit hard to read that guy. I pulled that out of the pack, so Super happy about that. But this guy is super unique, very new. Its front row skill and auto and front row rearguard circle when this unit is stood by your Vanguard's ability. Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. Sometimes comes in handy if you are looking for that mid-range kind of play. Don't have that Alden kind of pop down. You know, you have some extra soul you want to play around with. Getting that extra card sometimes can really help save us, just shield value, whatever, gaining that to your hand. Don't always want to be doing it, and I rarely kind of go into that play, but it is an option there if you need it. Its second skill continues in the back row rearguard circle. During your turn, all of your other units in the front row column of this guy gets an additional 5k. So this is really nice too for the lag rail play, just making your lag rail a little bit bigger too. On top of that, you don't need to boost, it just naturally gets that 5k, so I really like that aspect of it. And then when it does boost, you're still giving it that 5k, plus its own body is 13, restand it again, it's another 23k on top of that, making it a 28k, I guess, if you want to count its 5k ability there total. So really, really powerful card. I think 3 of is the right ratio because we are kind of teching a card in that some people kind of cut. I've seen a lot of debate with it. I've found that I do want to run it in my deck, so personally I am making a little bit of room, and I'll show you guys what that is in a little bit. But this next card over here, this is how we pretty much do boost. This is going to be the order card, Pride, to protect. So this card has been around since Dbt-03, nothing really crazy with that, but this actually did, this is Dbt-03? Let me just double check. I could be, yeah, this is Dbt-03, sorry. But this card is pretty simple. Play this card, discard a card from your hand, and then when it's in the order zone continuous, all of your grade 3 rear guards get boosts. So really nice to make these sweet numbers again. And again, you can pop this down on your grade 4 turn. It's annoying to kind of see too many of them, but you can pop this down on your grade 3 turn. You might run yourself a little bit thin with that, but can just really close out the game on your first grade 3 turn if you hit them with a crit or whatever a little bit early, whatever the case may be. Put on that like really nice pressure. I think 3 is the right ratio because you do want to see it at some point every single game, but then if you see too many, like 4 of is just way too many, 2 of I wasn't seeing it often enough. 3 is kind of that right ratio. I feel like if you see too many of it, it does suck, but at the same time, could be discard fodder, whatever the case is with it. So I think it is a necessary card in the build. I think a lot of other people right now are running it too, and it really makes these really, really beautiful columns. So I do like this card, and I'm running that added 3 of. Next up over here, we have a new grade 3 actually from this set. This is going to be Heavenly Enclaps Dragon, Embrace Dragon. So very interesting card overall. This guy gets like an additional 10k shield. It's just a little bit more shield. So let me read off the skill actually. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, choose one of your grade 2 rear guards being attacked, grade 2 or greater rear guards being attacked, and it gets 10k until the end of battle. And if you choose a grade 4 card, it gets an additional 20k instead of 10k. So I know a lot of people are running this at 4 of, and again, I'm kind of taking something in that I needed to make room for outside of the lag rail, which we will get to. I think that's next up. Yeah, it's going to be next, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. I think that this card really goes live, obviously, on your grade 4 turn, and as a result, if it's a grade 4 card, we don't necessarily need it at a 4 of. You get the chance to kind of see it a little bit later in the game, possibly through drive checks, draws, things of that nature. So I am running it at 3 of. I don't miss the 4th copy, to be honest, because if you call this off the top, it's 12k body, so that kind of sucks in a way if you have to attack with it. It's not a 13, so just be wary of that. So I think 3 of is the right ratio for this. That extra 20k just kind of insulates your field a little bit better and makes you not so afraid to commit a bunch of grade 3s to your board to potentially get taken away, because we used to have the grade 3 when you pop her down, 5k for every 2. No more. We just have a plain and simple shield guy over here, so I think this definitely insulates the deck, makes it a little bit better than it was previously. So 3 of those guys. You can up that to 4 if you're feeling more comfortable with that ratio. Totally go for it. Again, all of my deck profiles are just kind of I guess they're templates. These are always up for discussion. These are always up for preference. I love talking with people. Hey, I do this in my deck. I do this in my deck. I think this would be better. That's always a great discussion to have. So let me know so far if you have any comments down below. Definitely let me know. Next up over here, we're going to be talking about an oldie but goldie. So this was a card I am kind of talking about needing room for the whole time. This is Knight of Broadaxe Refluke. So Refluke has been around since this come in the trial deck. I think this came in the trial deck actually, so not even set 1. But this is actually a really great card, and I think this is definitely slept on in this meta. I feel like, our goal isn't to Persona Ride necessarily anymore. It's obviously to go into the grade 4 turn, so some of your first initial swings aren't as lethal as they used to be, or just not as impactful as they used to be. Refluke kind of fixes that with going into Soul, giving another unit 10k. On top of that, it fixes some of the Soul issue that we do have, so if you go off for a Soul Blast 2 draw, play on the other grade 3, the new one, if you go for that, it does help you as well a little bit later. For the Alden, sometimes you might run out of Soul, Soul Blast out on an Apex or Bastion. Just sometimes you need Soul for different skills, and this guy definitely helps kind of fulfill that and just keep that going. On top of that, like I said, the 10k is just huge. you're hitting those magic numbers now, just making sure that, you know, the shield is a little bit more impactful than it was coming out of your opponent's hand than it was before. Maybe they'll take a damage, you know, in hopes that, you know, oh, you know, get a heal here, maybe, then I'll be able to survive. So I just think that this card is necessary. If you want to bump it down to 3, up the shield, totally up to you. You can do that. I think that this is just such a necessary card in general. I really like it. My deck was missing it without it. I tried it without it. Just wasn't as impactful overall. So definitely try this out. Let me know what you think. If you guys are cutting it, it's totally cool. But definitely the way I like to play it, at least, is with that Refluke. And it's not bad to like commit that early, swing with it. You know, your opponent knows that it's like a target for later. It could buff up if they don't have a lot of shield in hand. Could soak a damage when you really didn't need to take an extra damage or something. So nice target overall. Next up, I am still running the 4 PGs. I definitely think that we need to, especially in the deck that, you know, we don't have like a ton of like 5k shields or anything in our deck. I think this is important. So definitely need those 4 PGs. Nothing more to really say there. And then let's pan out really quickly. Let's go into the triggers. All right, so going into the triggers over here, I think I picked a not a spicy lineup, but something interesting. A little bit of everything. So first off, 4 crits here with the effect, and then I have 3 additional crits, just vanilla crits because we don't have any other effect ones. Crits still really important. They win you the game. A lot of people will argue to go 8. It's not wrong to go 8. You definitely can. I just personally feel like, you know, we're not trying to blow them out on necessarily our grade 3 turn. We can, but that's not always the game plan, and I think that other cards kind of add to some consistency. I kind of like 2 draws in here. I was trying this at 3. I even tried 4. I feel like I was seeing them a little bit too much. They were still just discard fodder. So overall, when I do see this, sometimes it can help us get into some key pieces. So 2 additional draws, 4 heals, and then I'm running still 2 fronts. So obviously an over trigger as well. The fronts, the 20k shields, they're nice. Just sometimes drop it down from hand, boom, get that extra 20k on there, no big deal. I think that when you restand, having like a 20k column on top of another 10k from a trigger, it just makes it like really, really difficult overall to kind of guard a lot of this stuff out. So I personally like this. You can change this to whatever you feel. If you feel all the max crit is the best and then some more draw. If you feel the fronts are a little bit better, go for it. I just kind of like that little bit of split right there. Don't call me a coward for running like a pseudo rainbow or anything. But yeah, just kind of the flavor that I like right now. So cool. Thank you guys for watching so far. Let's hop right into a test hand. I'll show you guys how the deck kind of plays out and my vision of it. All right, let's shuffle up over here and get started with a test hand. Overall, I think this is just a very competitive deck. I think that when we are talking consistency, this deck pretty much does it the best. Seraph, in a way, you know, your opponent kind of gets the ability to take out some units from the prison. So if they're smart and they kind of know what the deck does and whatnot, like they can play around that 10, kind of maybe get away with it. I think that that deck kind of has a higher ceiling with those double crits, but the floor is a bit lower too if you don't get them. So I think this deck is just super consistent, super powerful, and at the same time, it's like, you know, in a tournament, like I said, I want consistency. I want to know my deck does what it does all the time, does it consistently. So I'm definitely putting the over trigger back. I'm putting these 3s back too. We don't have a lot of shield, but we don't have a lot of like, I guess these actually are key cards. We can decide what we want to do, but let's go, yeah, that's fine. Let's go put those 3 back. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so I'm definitely happier with this as it stands right now. Let's go here. Let's draw that. Let's put that back. All right, cool. All right, we're going to pretend we go first just to make it a little bit easier. We're going to stand and draw for our turn, and then we're going to discard. What are we going to discard? Let's discard a Refluke. We have 2 of them. Ride up, and we're going to pass it over to our opponent. And we're going to take a damage for their turn. Boom. All right, front trigger shuts them off. Let's put that here so you can see the damage. Next up, our turn. Stand and draw right over there. Nice. So what else are we going to do? You know what? I don't want to go for the Lagro play right away, so I'm going to discard that, I think. I think I'm going to keep it a little bit more conservative. Lagriel can save you in situations, but, you know, we're not in a bad situation yet. It doesn't seem like we're trending that way, so, yeah. Never reveal the Olden, too, if you can. Like, you just don't want to do that, really. I'm going to reveal these 2. Never reveal Shield, never revealed, like, Olden. That just helps them calculate, you know, oh, damn, they have an Olden. Don't give them 2 damage, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to do that, too. We're going to take the top card. Ooh, Apex Prime. Don't really want to see that down there, but that's okay. Let's go here with it. We are then going to, you know, let's swing in with Prime first for 13. Then we're going to swing here. Boom, drive check, all effects here. All right, gonna stand, gonna pass it over to our opponent actually. And then we are gonna take 1 damage, boom, crit again. Let's say that crit kind of shut off their turn. And yeah, we're kind of good. They can swing at this if they want to. I guess let's assume they do. Boom, we just let them take it, no big deal. We're going to stand and draw for our turn now. All right, so we got a draw trigger there. We are probably going to discard the draw trigger. We don't have too much shield in our hand, but we're not in the worst spot either. And we do have an Olden coming out now. So we're going to discard right up to the Bastion, and then we are going to reveal 3 from our hand. So nothing they can really do at this point. They'll probably go into these 3, so I'm going to reveal those 3. And then let's draw a card. What are we going to draw? We do get another lag reel. Nice. So that discard wasn't the worst. But this puts me in a situation now where I have to decide, do I want to rust 4 to get those extra drive checks? Like, what do I really want to do? When I can save the Alden for next turn. Really, do I want to do that? Nah, let's just go into the Alden play, I think. We're going to go down with Alden. Here we are. Counterblast 2. Boom. We're going to Soul Blast 1 as well. We are then going to call down a grade 3 from hand. We're going to call him down just to kind of support and give him that extra 5k there. And then we're going to draw 2 cards, 1 and 2. Okay, so we do have this. You know what? Let's actually give this guy a boost. There are certain times where you do want to do this, certain times where you don't. Refluke is a good target to ditch because you're probably not going to go into him unless you committed to it early. Unless I hit like a bunch of crits earlier. I could do it, but I really just don't think I want to kind of blow my load quite yet on that. Whoops, this goes into the order zone actually, but we are going to discard the Refluke from hand for that cost, so now our grade 3 units can boost. With that being said, let's just pop down the Refluke here and let's proceed. So we are going to swing over here. This gets the extra 5k naturally, so I'm going to wait for the next turn, the possible restand on him to get him up. This is going to be 20k by himself, 2k from that, and then 5 on there from him. So this is going to be 25 at my opponent's Vanguard. Going to swing down just a 15 at my opponent. So we're going to go first check, declare skill, second check, heal. So let's go power to Refluke actually, and let's heal off 1 damage. Let's just assume. And then we are going to discard a card from our hand. Let's actually discard 1 Bastion because I have 2 Bastions in my hand, so I'm going to discard 1. I'm going to restand him. He gets the extra 10k, so we're going from 25 to 35 now by himself, right? Because he's just behind it, yep. And then he's going to be behind him boosting too. So yeah, let's do this first. Let's go here. This is going to be 15. This is 25 over here from Fluke. And this is going to be, I think it's 45, right? 10, 5. 5 naturally would be 25. He gave himself plus 5 here is 30. Plus him is 40. Is this 53? Am I bugging out here? Because he gets 10k. 10k from Bastion. 5, 25 from his own natural skill because he swung twice. So it's 25 plus a 5 here is 30, 40 plus, yeah, from the 10k plus him. Yeah, this is actually 53, so this is actually a really huge column. Correct me if I'm wrong on my math there, but I think that was right. But yeah, overall, that is kind of what we want to do. Let's proceed over to our opponent's turn. Let's see if we can get a Bastion Prime here. 1 damage, 2 damage, let's take, boom. Okay, let's start guarding. You know what? Let's guard here with 1. Let's take 1 last one. No big deal. Boom. Okay. Oh, let's say we actually didn't take that, just so I can show you the Bastion Prime turn. All right, cool. So let's say I just guarded those 2 out. 1, 2 more. Boom. Discard those from my hand. So we do have the Bastion Prime now. We are going to stand and draw now for our turn. Actually, I just drew the Bastion Prime. Yeah, so that doesn't count. So let's go here. I'm actually going to commit the Bastion to my board right there because grade 3s do get boosts actually, and I'm going to put this into my soul. I'm actually going to do that. Let's see, do I want to do that? I have a choice, it could be, nah, but these actually do get bigger. Nah, it's not worth doing that. So let's pop these. Let's go this guy here, that guy there, and yeah, let's go ahead and proceed. So this is 15 plus, I do get the order here again, so I can boost. 15, 20 naturally, 25 from his additional 5, 25 plus that 13 is 38. So when it restands, it's going to be a 58 plus an additional, actually 5, 15, 20. I'm sorry I'm getting these, I just want to make sure I'm getting these numbers right. 15, 20 when he swings. 25 from his skill, 25 plus, yeah, just the 13, yeah, so that is, okay. This is 38. This guy over here is going to be 15 plus the 13. This is just plain and simple going to be a nice 28k swing. And we are going to swing here. This is going to be 15k. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's all grade 3s in my front row, right? Oh no, all my front row units, sorry. Get 2k. So that is going to be, boom, 15k, triple drive. Let's go 1, declare skill, 2, and 3. Unfortunate, no triggers there, but we do get grade 3s, obviously. So let's discard a grade 3 from our hand. Going to discard this guy, no big deal. And we're going to restand everybody by Soul Blasting out a Bastion. There we are. So this is kind of our final turn here. An additional 20k to each column. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I'm going to swing in. I think this is, what did I say? 53, 58 plus the 5. 58 plus the 5 there, right? Yeah, this is 63. This is going to be 10, 20. This is 23, 23 plus the 25. This is going to be, right? 23 plus the 25, yeah, this is 48. Just huge columns overall. Again, just very simple turns, not too much to really think about. A lot of math to do, unfortunately, with these guys. Sorry about taking a little bit of time with that, but you know, the lag reel play is there if you want to go get it. Like, you definitely can do that. If you want to just go standard into the Alden, I feel like it is a little bit better overall. Our shield value in this deck is not crazy, but at the same time too, I feel like by the beginning of the game, or you know, by your very 4 turn, you shouldn't have been blown out. Like, a lot of decks don't do that unless you're facing like a Gravidia who has like a really high roll potential, or something else that kind of rushes you, or you know, you just got sacked to death. Most of the time, like, we're playing a numbers game with consistency here, and this guy, like I said, is just so consistent. Your game plan goes off turn after turn, like, all the time, so I feel really good about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. This is Alex from Team Generations, signing out.